Hi, my name is Laura Mason, and I'm coming to you from the loft of our beautiful barn on our farm. And this is for the class Meditations in Motion at Crossbridge Church in Ottawa, Illinois. And it's the same class at OSF St. Elizabeth in the same town, and that's called Mindful Movement. How we do this class is we start out with some scriptures and quotes around a particular theme, and then we do the practice, and then we end with a devotional based on that too. The theme for today is beginnings. Now, before we get started, if you could please click the like button, that would really help out, and I'd be appreciative. And also, I'd be very honored if you hit the subscribe button for yourself, so that would alert you to any further videos as they come up, so you would be made aware of them. Now, again, the theme today is for beginnings, and it is birthed out of my morning beginnings. One thing I choose to practice, I try to be more patient and calm. And in the morning, I would start the coffee pot, and as I was waiting for it to brew, I would be impatiently looking at it and waiting and waiting. And so I started doing a few yoga type postures and stretches while I was waiting for the coffee to brew because I was so impatient. And out of that, I learned to practice a little bit more calm and quiet. So we're going to do a new beginning, and out of that, we have to come. A new beginning is straight to open up something new. We're always curled forward with our sleep, with eating, all of our electronics, driving. So a good place to start is to open up and stand tall. So to start with the theme of beginnings, I'm going to read where Paul writes to the Corinthians. And in chapter 3 of 2 Corinthians, he starts saying, we all now can look directly at God, and we reflect who God is. We are being transformed into the same image as God. We bear his image, going from glory to glory, or ever increasing glory, by the Spirit of the Lord. I have to remember that I can't do it alone or do self-help. I have to have God help me. He goes on in chapter 4 to say, our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. And finally, in chapter 5, one of my favorites, he says, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come. And some scripture, and some, not scripture, but some quotes on beginnings that I have found that I really like are, getting over a painful experience is much like monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. That's from C.S. Lewis. Quite often we start a beginning, we have to let go of an old hurt, an old past, or something familiar, or a mistake we dub as familiar, to hold on to something new, wonderful, better. And the last quote comes from Martin Luther King. He says, to take the first step in faith, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step, which is the second big point. You have to let go of the old to move forward, but you only have to move forward one step at a time, and with God's help. So with that, we're going to start in mountain pose. And if you can come to stand, and I will also show an alternative way to do this by doing it in the chair. So with mountain pose, you're going to come up nice and tall. Also, hold on to your dish towel. We are going to be using this. It's going to come in handy. And I want you to come up nice and tall, inhaling, and I want you to contract your butt and your gut so you're not slumped. Just a slight contraction that's going to bring you up nice and tall. And exhale and roll the shoulders down. And inhale and come up nice and tall again. Exhale and see if you can bring the fingers down into the earth. Inhale one more time. Exhale, turn the palms forward. And inhale and continue to make sure your butt and gut are engaged a little bit to hold you up. And just notice the work it takes to hold you in this posture as you make sure your shoulders don't ride up and they stay down. And just note the feeling that you have trying to hold yourself in this proper posture, the effort that it takes to keep tall in mountain. And exhale and release. Now I'm going to have you take your dish towel. We're going to do some Pilates-based exercises. Now when I have you do this motion, you're going to be twisting out, keeping your elbows into your hourglass. Now we don't bounce going to the end range and coming off of it like dribbling a ball. Boom, boom. We just oscillate gently, kind of approaching that edge, and that edge is soft face. Where you can't keep soft face anymore, don't go that far. Just gently oscillating on and off. For my example that I use, instead of bouncing a ball, it'd be more like just taking the ball and bringing it near the floor and lifting it back up. So with that, I want you to take the dish towel, but we're going to keep mountain pose, so remember to engage your butt, the slight tuck, and your gut by pretending there's a string from your hip bone to hip bone and gently drawing it in. And I want you to take, and maintaining that, turn in slight oscillations, pulling the towel out. Now, if for some reason you have to do this in sitting, you still can engage. You still can squeeze those glutes and the gut, glutes and guts, to bring yourself up and turn it out in the same manner. And from here, whether you're standing or sitting, nice and tall and heart to heaven. Now we're going to bring it up here like a tray with elbows straight, heart to heaven, pulling it apart again in those small oscillating movements. And you should feel a strengthening between your shoulder blades. We want to start strengthening upper back, the lower back, to help us in our new beginning, sitting up straight, up open, strong. And then from there, I want you to take and bring the tray from your lap up to chest height with a slight outward tension on the towel. And again, the amount of tension is kind of like the engagement of the glutes and the gut. Not a hard squeeze, just enough to get them activated. And we're going to take this up, and you're going to breathe in and exhale down, and breathe in and exhale down. And continue to move this, making sure your heart stays to heaven. Very good. And now we're going to turn it palm down. You can either slowly, one hand at a time, turn it palm down, or have a little fun. From here, again, make sure we're upright, glutes and gut, and we're going to take and we're going to bring that towel straight back, like rowing at chest level. And I want to see those chicken wings out, but keep that heart to heaven. Don't collapse in. Inhale as you bring it in, expanding that chest. Exhale out. And exhale out. Good. In and out. And now from here, a fun little ditty. Stop right here within a chest level. Elbows bent at 90 degrees, and you're going to do a little flip up. Okay? And here that's working some small muscles. Inhale, exhale. Right back here as you continue to flip up. Inhale and exhale. Again, strengthening the arm muscles now that help turn your hands out. So again, we're not curving in. So inhale, flipping up, and exhale down. Now from here, hold it up. And what is your glute and guts doing? Hopefully they're tucked. Even in sitting, again, remember, even though you're sitting on those glutes, you can still tighten them a little bit and come up taller. From here, I want you to pull your elbows straight down, okay? So down, down. Again, that little oscillation, keep your heart to heaven. It's challenging to keep your glutes and guts engaged. Okay, so we're strengthening those too. Good, pull down, pull down. Now we're gonna bring this out with some outward tension, and now we're gonna take our hands even a little higher, just up to slightly above our foreheads. Again, what are your glutes and guts doing? They're engaged. Up and down. Nice. Okay. And from here, once you get up here, I want you to do some shrugs. So just pulling those shoulder blades down and making sure that when you do it, you're not lifting them up here and they're like earrings against, your shoulders are earrings against your ears. We want them down. If it's hard for you to find that movement, what you can do is you can shrug them all the way up, and and then pull them down, and from here just rest, pull down, and rest, pull down, rest, and pull down. Now on your next pull down with your shoulder blades neatly seated down and back, make sure your glute and gut are engaged. I want you to bump one hip out and kind of sway your shoulders in the opposite direction. Now find your own rhythm where you inhale and then exhale that hip out, inhale the center, exhale that hip out, inhale the center and exhale, and just do this a couple of times. Stretching the side body, nice and easy. And then finally, pick one side to start with and just keep the hip bumped out and kind of bring the arms over, shoulder blades down, and just feel the stretch in that side body. And wherever it feels tight, it can be anywhere from behind your armpit, maybe even to your hip, maybe even your side leg. Just breathe into that area and rest a little bit. And then inhale back up and exhale, bump that hip out, breathe into the other side body. And if you're in sitting, you still can do that. Just bump the hip. You can go side to side, but you can also bump that hip out a little bit. Bump the hip out on the other side, shifting your weight on your legs. Okay, and bring your hands down. Whew. Good workout for the arms. Okay. Now we're going to stretch them out a little bit. So I'll demonstrate in sitting. What I want you to do is bring your hands so they're only about 12 inches apart, and you're going to bring it across. You should feel a stretch on the back of your arm, but don't cave in. Again, still glutes, glutes, and gut tuck. Okay? Sitting up nice and straight. Nice, long, easy breaths. And then we're going to come to the other side. Nice, long, easy breath. And we're going to go to the other side and stretch again. But now as we stretch, instead of bringing your whole shoulder blade over, what I'd like you to try and do is pull that shoulder blade back as you bring the arm forward. And you'll isolate that stretch more to right behind your arm. Good. And I'll bring it to the other side. What are your glutes and gut doing? They better be tucked. And make sure those shoulder blades are down and back or hard to have it. Okay? No, you won't get it all at once, but that's a beginning. Sometimes beginnings aren't easy. Okay, one step at a time. All right, now we want to stretch the front, so you can either do this in standing, and how you're going to do it, or in sitting, is you're going to bring this behind you and palm up, bring it around, and then pull with the arm this way to get a nice stretch. Now when you do it in sitting, again, glutes and gut, I want you up nice and straight to get that stretch. Now if you're in standing, you can do glutes and gut, or you can kind of start getting ready for the next part of the workout, and you can turn and you can do what we call chair pose. This is what chair pose would be, but this is the form, stretching it out. I want you to glide your hips way back out. None of this, but stick your hips way out, glide them back. Stick your butt out. Okay, make a nice shelf for that forearm to sit on, okay? And then come up tall, inhale. So whether you choose to be in chair pose or sitting in the chair or in standing, whichever serves you best, we're gonna wrap that towel around your body and engage the glutes and gut in standing, nice stretch. Or if you choose to go into chair pose, it's just like you're pretending to sit down. Stick that butt out, get a nice shelf going there. We're going to use that later. This is good mechanics. Okay, get a nice stretch going there. Pull that forward. Or in the chair. It should look like you're sitting in the chair in chair pose. Or in chair, I don't want you caving in. Again, nice and tall. Nice stretch. Okay. And now we're going to move into, I'm checking my notes here. Okay, so we're going to go into what we call a shoulder press. It's very much like people who are lifting weights on a barbell. It's functional. That's why I'm teaching it, because we reach overhead so often. We need to learn how to do it well. Plus, it's a great chest opener. Plus, it really challenges your gut here to tuck it, so it strengthens. You're getting 3 or 4 things at once. So what I want you to do is do that flip, and bring a towel to your collarbones, okay? I want your wrists straight, not that back, straight. And from here, you're gonna raise the towel, not out to your forehead, but do that if you lack shoulder range of motion. If you can't bring it where I'm gonna say next, just bring it out here, and that's fine too. Keep those shoulder blades down and back. For those of you who can, lift it. Now to lift it, you're gonna catch your chin, so do a slight chin tuck. Lift it straight up, and not here, but overhead to the crown of your head. And then you're gonna lower it with straight elbows and back down under the collarbones. And as you do this, I don't want you to arch your back like that. That's gonna hurt your back. So what do? You got it. I want you to tuck your glutes and your gut. That gives you a nice strong core foundation to bring it up and back down. Inhale as you bring it up. As you go down. And as you go up, do a slight chin tuck. And again, this is very functional. We reach overhead to put things on a top shelf. We reach overhead to do our hair. Very applicable, and it's a great chest opener. Now for those of you who have the range of motion, if you choose to do so, you can do a few more of these. Or if that doesn't serve and your shoulders are getting really tired, you can just go ahead and do some posterior shoulder rolls. For those of you who want, we can go ahead and bring it behind our head and get a real nice chest opener and stretch. The only requirement is, you got it, glutes and gut. Keep a little tuck there. That's that mountain pose on the bottom there. We're keeping those legs engaged so that we can have a good workout there later. They'll be all nice and warmed up. And bring it down. Okay, from here, put the towel right here. We're going to take a wide stance with our feet. Okay, glutes and gut. For those of you that are in the chair, you don't have to wide stance your feet. Just sit nice and tall, glutes and gut. That's a challenge enough. I want you to bring your arms up. And again, we're going to do that oscillation. We're not going to bounce hard. We're just going to go to the edge of where we can't keep soft face. In other words, as long as you're comfortable, you got a soft face. If you have to tighten or make any kind of face, that's too far. You're not comfortable with it. Chest high, heart to heaven, arms, palms up. You may feel a little tingling in these fingers. That's normal. Nerves will tingle if they get pinched or stretched slightly. That is a sensation they feel, like your muscles have a different sensation when they get stretched. Gentle oscillations now. We're going to bring our elbows back into our hourglass with our palms facing forward. Again, engage your quads, your glute, and your gut to be up tall. If you're sitting, even if you're sitting on those glutes, you can engage them, okay? So it's palms up and out, forward and down. Okay, exhale, inhale, exhale, a few more. Okay, now we're going to do a little different. We're going to bring them up forward, and we're going to flip them back. And this really challenges the gut and the glutes to hold this as you're waving your arms around. So this is a good core strengthener along with opening those shoulders, okay? So inhale them back, exhale them forward. Inhale, flip them back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, good. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. Good. And rain those fingers down. And step back together, kind of shake it off a little bit. Good. Now we're going to start focusing on the legs. So I'm going to have you take your towel back, and you're going to kind of give a little tension on it. Feet again, shoulder width apart. And I want you to slowly lower the towel down to your knees and come back up. And as you do that, I want you to keep your gut tucked. But now, as we were practicing earlier, talking about the shoulder, when you're moving the shoulders, I want you to glide that hip crease straight back, or in other terms, stick your butt out, and I want you to look forward. Now this is another very functional thing, because how often do we do this movement? Well, every time you go to sit down in a chair, every time you get up from the toilet, every time you go down to lift up a big bucket. This is good mechanics, and these are the muscles that you use. So in weightlifters terms, they call it the deadlift, but I'll call it the life lift, because we have to lift this in life all the time. Now, if you're sitting in the chair, you sit to the edge of the chair and you just lean forward to your knees. Hinge at the hips and come back forward. Now, if you have any hip precautions like a total hip, do not go past 90 degrees, just move your arms, okay? And again, with anything, if you have any knee replacements, again, you only want to go to 90 degrees. Don't go any further, okay? We don't want to put too much tension out there quite yet if you're not used to it, all right? Okay, and as you stand up, I want you to use your quads, the muscle in the front of your thigh, and your glutes and your gut to pull yourself up. We're doing just some mini squats here, really gliding that rear end out. Now, for those of you who don't have any hip precautions, I'd like you to drop it down, keep doing the same thing, heart to heaven. Put that towel down by the ankle now, and I want you to go to mid-shin and bring it back up. And mid-shin and bring it back up. Okay? So as you come up, you're going to inhale and squeeze the butt, gut, and quads. And as you exhale, you're going to go down and inhale as you come up. Now, if you're lifting weights, the breath is reversed because it's more effort to lift the barbell, okay? But in yoga, it's a little different because when you fold forward, you exhale because the breath naturally goes out. And inhale as you come up. Now, if you're in the chair and you don't have any precautions, you're simply just leaning forward and coming back up. Now, this very action itself is a great back strengthener, both for your back and your shoulder blade muscles to keep them down and back, okay? So inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Again, new beginnings, a better way to move, a better way to lift things, a better way to reach up, a stronger way to stand. It's a good solid base and a good place to begin. We need a solid foundation, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and move into the legs. You can get rid of the towel. We're done with it now. So we're going to go into a variation of Warrior One. And so if you're on a yoga mat, you face the short side of the mat. The stance to begin with is one leg forward and take another one a step back. Take that back leg and turn it 45 degrees out. Now I want you to make sure you keep your shoulders and your hips facing the short side of the mat. That might be exercise enough or your best version of getting it there. From here, I want you to push the heel into the ground by tightening the quad and tightening the glute. They kind of work against each other, but they open up that hip. Again, we're working against all this forward activity we do, new beginnings. We're opening up that hip. So from there, we tuck our gut a little bit to rise up tall. Then we're going to bend that front knee a little bit and make sure it goes over the second toe. And we're going to inhale as we bend forward and exhale as it comes back. Again, make sure you keep the shoulders down and back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Now, if you'd like a little extra challenge, you can either grab the towel behind you. I know this side to get rid of it. Or you can interlace your fingers or just hold your hands behind you to get a little bit more of a stretch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now, we're going to go into pyramid pose. So what I want you to do is you're going to keep that knee straight, and I want you to take and look up and over like you're looking down into a pond and back up. And you're going to exhale forward, and you're going to inhale up and exhale forward and inhale up, and make sure your quad and your glutes and your gut are engaged. And then finally, you're going to hold it there. Now, for those of you in the chair, I haven't forgotten you. What you're going to do for Warrior One is you're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to come to the edge of your chair and come up nice and tall. And you're going to push the ball of your toe in and come up nice and tall. And you're just going to lean forward and back and forward and back. Make sure you've got a good armrest. You've got good support as you can. And if you can't even do that, then just turn sideways. And again, just the forward and back is strengthening that back. And then for when we go into pyramid, those of you in pyramid, if you are, come on out of it, shake it off, get ready to go to the other side. Then for going into pyramid, where you straighten the front leg, you're just going to bring the same leg instead forward, and you're going to lean forward and back, putting the weight either on this leg or on the arm of a chair, and gently going forward, looking forward, heart to heaven, not thinking of taking your nose closer to your leg, but your belly closer to your leg, and finally holding it there for some nice long breaths. Okay? So that's how you do it in sitting. So now for folks who have been shaking it off, I'm sure you're shaking a lot off by now, we're going to face the other direction or switch your feet. And what I'm going to have you do is you're going to take that back leg, remember, The foot's turned up 45 degrees. And you're going to put that heel into the ground by tightening the quad and the glute. Make sure that the hips and the shoulders are facing the short side of the mat, okay? And then you're going to bend your knee, tight gut, and you're just going to come in and out of Warrior One, adding the arms if you want to. If you're too tight to grab, you can use a towel. Okay. And inhale and exhale. Nice, slow oscillations. And all the time we're moving, we're opening up that back hip. This is a nice hip flexor stretch. And then we're going to go into pyramid. We're going to keep that front knee straight, and we're going to bend forward and come back up. And we're going to exhale. Inhale as you move the chest up. And exhale. And inhale. And remember to keep the heart forward, and it's like you're peering forward into a pond. And finally get a nice stretch on the front leg, and it's a little bit of a balance too. If you need to hold on to the chair for any of these poses, it's here for that. Please do so. And you're going to go ahead and peer in and hold. And finally you can bend that knee to come out of that stretch. And for a little variation, if you want, when you do this, you can combine both. And what you can do is you can go Warrior One, come up, and then pyramid, and go Warrior One, come up, and pyramid, and oscillate back and forth. If you want to do that as a variation, and we'll continue to do this, where you bend your knee, Warrior One, exhale, straighten your knee, and tip forward. Bend your knee into Warrior One, straighten your knee, and tip in to pyramid. And then we'll do that one more time on the other side so we're even. For those who want, for those who need a rest, go ahead, do what serves you best. Again, 45 degrees, knees, butt, and gut. And you're going to bend that knee, Warrior One, then straighten it and look into the pond for pyramid. Bend the knee, Warrior One, straighten it, and go into pyramid. Kind of moving back and forth, loosening and strengthening those hips. Okay. Back and forth a few more times. Again, these are great, gentle, small movements, especially at the beginning of the day, like when you're waiting for your coffee to brew. Or at the end of the day, if you're tired, to gently move. Finally, we're going to go into Camel. I always say this is the most important pose. If I could give the world the best stretch ever, this would be it. So, bring your hands behind you. And again, I mentioned if they cannot meet together here, you can hold your thumbs or a towel. I want you to come up tall, knees, butt, and gut to protect that back. And I want you to heart to heaven. Imagine opening that rib cage and letting the heart out. Heart to heaven. Inhale, heart to heaven. And exhale, hands to Hades. Heart to heaven, hands to Hades. Inhale, nice breath. We call this Camel because from knees on up, we're creating a hump. And again, if you were doing that in chair, you could just sit here on the edge of the chair and bring yourself up like this. So whether in standing or in sitting, as you continue to do this, I just want you to hold it now. And if the throat feels like you can go a little further and it wants to soften, and let your head tip back a little bit, and just get a nice stretch. And finally gently ease out of it. Good job. Very good job. And so finally, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you do mountain pose again. And I want you to notice this time now, since we did so much good work strengthening our shoulder blades, our back as we came up straight, our gut to help support us. Used our glutes so much, again, what we call the posterior chain, the muscles in the back that hold us up and open. A new beginning away from the old. Notice if it's easier or different for you to hold this pose. So as we stand again, I want you to inhale, lifting knees, butt, and then gut, engaging, lifting your crown up to the summit of the mountain. And exhale and roll back your shoulders. And inhale and see if you can come up taller. And exhale and bring the fingers down and open. And as you take some few breaths here, nice and deep and long, notice if it's easier to hold this pose or if you're holding yourself back a little further with more ease. If it feels different, it may or may not. It is what it is, and whatever it is, it's good. Okay, from wherever you're at now, I ask that you would sit in easy seat, whatever that is for you. Some of you would like to sit crisscross applesauce, we can call it, or this is called easy sit. Some lotus, bring it here. If you're more comfortable, you can sit in a chair, or some find it easier. They can sit on the ground if they have a rolled up blanket or a yoga block to sit on. And some would like to fully lay down on their back with their feet open and their palms up. That's called Shavasana, or the final resting pose. This is always the most important when you do this practice, because you've done so much good work for yourself, and I thank you for showing up for yourself, that you get just a moment to enjoy what it feels like. And not only do you get to enjoy it, but you feel what you've done for yourself, and you can carry that patience, that peace, or whatever vibe you've gotten off of this that feels good. You can carry that better throughout the day, and maybe even flash back to it to find a calm moment and greater clarity and peace that you have here throughout the day to make your day more productive and more peaceful. So as you go into that, your easy seat, I invite you to close your eyes and just quickly scan through your body to feel the good that you've brought to it for the practice you've done today. Just notice if anything feels different. Again, noting it, not dwelling on it and staying there or ignoring it. Starting at the head and going down through the neck, the front, the back, the throat, the chest, the shoulders. Noticing any areas that feel light and more free. Maybe you've tweaked a little bit and it notices that that's not one of those stronger areas right now. And going down your arms and into your hands, across your chest and low back, and your tummy, your hips and pelvis, and going down the fronts of your legs, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings on the back of your thighs, your shins, and finally your feet. And keeping your eyes closed, this is a time for new beginnings. Every day is a chance for a new beginning, for God's mercies are new every day. And just listen to this devotional as though God was saying this to you. You are being transformed in my image, from glory to glory, better and better. Trust my spirit to do this massive work in you. Yield to my ways and my wisdom. When life gets tough, don't waste those hard times. Ask me to be with you in them and to help them transform you to become more like me, helping you become your true self, your best self that I created you to be. Though your troubles may seem heavy and endless, try to keep your focus on me. If you are grateful, even in the hard times, that focuses on me instead of your troubles and gives you perspective. When you give thanks in the adversary, not only do you progress, but I am also glorified. And your thankfulness helps you transform and become stronger. We talked about letting go of the past and failures. Remember, failures are just unplanned mistakes. Again, you can think anything in the past or something you need to let go of. Failures are not tombstones unless you bury yourselves under it and identify with the epitaph. Failures can be stepping stones if we rise above them and think of them as lessons and use them to build steps for a new path. Again, remember, whatever you let go of, be it an old practice, a way of thinking, or something familiar, the only way to move forward besides letting it go is one step at a time and with God. And as you're ready, slowly wiggle your fingers and your feet and come out of that position you're in. Slowly sit up if you're not already, and slowly flutter your eyes open. I am so honored and grateful that you took your time to be here today. I hope you really enjoyed your practice and you can use it. And if you have any comments, please leave it down below. Please be respectful. I do ask that. And have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you.